So that's what I was going to ask. Have you ever been in a position where you've knowingly watched yourself lose or win a fantasy game live and had to play it cool? Because I know if I lose in fantasy, my weekend's ruined. If my favorite team lose and my fantasy team lose, my wife knows I'm not going to be able to speak to her until Tuesday, probably. I don't know how you do it.
I absolutely have. I'm trying to think of a specific example. I remember the scenario, though. I might not remember the team. I lost a game, or I knew I was going to lose a game, when the defense I was playing against, my opponent's defense, had a pick six in garbage time. So, like, if you lose to Derrick Henry because he went for 150 and 2 touchdowns, that's going to happen.
What are you going to do? Yeah.
Right? What are you going to do? But if you lose, if you're winning your game and it's garbage time, and you're like, the only thing that can beat me here is a defensive touchdown with like 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and the idiot opponent quarterback throws one because he's trying to win the game, his real game.
Yeah.
And it's an easy pick six up the sideline. So I lost one like that, and I saw it on the monitor before we showed it to you guys, right? You know, we'll re-rack it and we'll show it 10 seconds after it happens, whatever. And I had to call that, and it was a big play because it sealed the game for that NFL team. So I had to do my duty and give it like a pick six, and he could go 90-yard and I'm trying to do this at the same time. I'm like, there goes my fantasy week. And I was so disgusted. I was so disgusted while I was doing that. But I'll tell you, if you want to talk some fantasy, I'll give you my worst fantasy football bad beat of all time. So this was when Andre Johnson, remember the old Pro Bowl Texans wide receiver, right? Fantastic player. Andre Johnson was like a young man. He was like let's say a second year player, but he was one of the star receivers in the NFL early on. So the Texans, I have Andre Johnson, and he had caught 100 yards of passes and a touchdown. I was winning by like 2-point-something points. So I'm like, and the Texans were winning in their game, and it was late fourth quarter. So I'm like, the Texans aren't going to throw. Andre Johnson probably won't touch the ball again. But I'm up more than 2 points. So even if he fumbled and lost it -2, I still win. And there was no one else active for my opponent or me. And I'm like, put to bed.
It's done.
I'm good. So I was doing something, and I stepped away from the game and did the rest I did. And then I flipped back the computer on that night, and it said I lost by 1-point-something points. And I'm like, 100% impossible. That can't be. That it cannot be. There's no way he would have had to lose like 2 fumbles. And I'm like, there's no way. Here's what happened. The Texans were winning their football game. They were winning by, I think, 4 points in their game. They were trying to run the clock out. They didn't get a first down. The other team was out of timeouts. So they bled the clock down to 6 seconds, and it was 4th down. So they had to punt, but they didn't want to risk a blocked punt.
Right.
So they were going to take a safety, but they were like on the 30-yard line. So they were going to take a safety. Well, if you're going to take a safety from the 30-yard line, you don't put the punter in the game, the slowest guy on the field.
Yeah.
They put Andre Johnson.
Oh, no.
As the punter, he caught the snap, and they told him run out the back. -4 yards rushing.
That is the greatest fantasy loss of all time.
Wow.
I'm disgusted about it to this day.